Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well on this fine day and welcome to the new financial year. We've got a new month, a new quarter, a new half year and new opportunities and an opportunity to look at refocusing and refreshing on what we've already been doing. And the focus for today's Thrive series video, where we're looking at ways to ensure that your business not only survives but also thrives throughout these times, is really in ensuring that you understand as much as you can the ways of working of your team, of yourself and of your team. And what I mean by that is not so much the action that you're taking, that's super important. We've talked about that before, we'll talk about that again, but more in understanding our way of thinking, our individual unique way of thinking about problem solving or our approach to taking action, the behavior that we display. So our thinking, our behavior, our communication. And there's a lot of really great tools out there that can help you really understand and get some insight into your own and your team's natural and innate approach to thinking, behaving, communicating. A great tool that I use, and I'm doing a lot of work with clients around this at the moment, is eDisc, so extended disc. You will have heard of disc, some of you will have heard of disc, a lot of you will have, and there's other alternatives out there also. You'll find the one that works for you. The benefit of using a tool such as disc, or whichever you prefer to use, is that you really get to understand what's the natural default for people when they're under pressure, when they're under stress. So you then also know, how can I support this team member? Or how can I support myself in getting through these times? What are the potential risks or barriers that this person or myself will be going through? How will that affect high performance results? Because one of the things we have to remember is that even though your team, your business may be in turmoil, now turmoil could be really impacted by revenue, downsizing the business, but it could also be chaos, increase in business, not knowing where to focus on, trying to keep up with demand. So if you can understand how your team and how you yourself naturally approach things, our thinking, our communication, our behavior under pressure, you're able to find ways to make sure that those high performance results don't falter. What happens sometimes when we get distracted, so you may have found that perhaps at the beginning of the year or going into last year, you had a really good routine and structure and things were ticking along. And then there's turmoil and there's chaos, and all of a sudden it's really easy to forget or not focus on those systems and structures that you have in place. So we have to go back to looking at what are some of those key things that I had in place before, and how do I make sure we create consistency around that? This is relevant to what we've already talked about with creating certainty, so through routine, through discipline and structure. But it's also relevant here when you're digging deep into insights into how you yourself work, your mind works, your natural default for thinking, communication, and behavior is, and for your team, because it allows you then to realize, well, if I've been feeling a sense of chaos or turmoil, either resourceful or unresourceful, have we allowed that to move away from the systems and processes we had in place that we know used to work? Did we get distracted? Did we get flustered? Did we go into shutdown procrastination mode? Did we go into way too much change, I cannot cope and deal with this? Did we start making too many changes too quickly moving forward? Now, these are all different behaviors that are displayed depending on different, in this instance, disc profile types. Or again, there's commonality across all of these types of tools to understand the insights and the inner workings of our mind and our natural default. What you really need to make sure that you're not doing is assuming that the people around you are thinking, feeling, acting the way that you naturally do, because that's also a common pitfall that a lot of people fall into. And before we know this stuff, we naturally think, well, everyone thinks the same as me. Everyone would approach this in the same way. But in actual fact, that's not true. while there's commonalities in different traits, they're still unique to each other. So don't ever assume that just because you would act a certain way, or you would approach something a certain way, or you would think about something in a certain way, that the people around you will also. So really take the time and look at what are the tools that you have to understand, to get a deeper insight into those inner workings of yourself and of your team, to see, well, what is the natural default? How would they approach this? Because in times of stress, pressure, overwhelm, we tend to default back to our natural state, and all of that learned behavior can sometimes be overlooked. So I trust that you will take this as a reminder if you do this already, or as some inspiration to understand what else could I be doing. And of course, if you want some more information around DISC or any of the type of behavioral profiles and tools that we use at Evergreen Coaching, I'm more than happy to share, so please just reach out. Have some fun with it. The other thing I'm finding is this is a really good opportunity to create a bit of lightness and a bit of fun, because this is also team bonding. So bringing teams together, a lot of the feedback I'm getting is that it's great for all the reasons that I've mentioned, but also it's just good to get to know each other on a deeper level, to really build that bond, build that team, and live to that culture you want to create, and living those values that you have in place. So enjoy, reach out if you have any questions, and I look forward to checking in with you soon.